Betrayal doesn't always come in the form of a dramatic confession or a lipstick stain on a collar. Sometimes, it whispers to you when you least expect it, lurking in the background, waiting to be heard. For me, it came through a voice message. It was a Tuesday night, just past midnight. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, exhausted but unable to sleep. Claire, my wife of 11 years, had gone to visit her sister for the weekend, at least, that's what she told me. But something felt off. I couldn't explain it, couldn't pinpoint why I suddenly had this gnawing feeling in my gut that something wasn't right. And then my phone buzzed. It was a voice message from Claire. Short, casual. Hey, babe. Just wanted to say goodnight. I love you. See you soon. Her voice was smooth, affectionate, the way it always was. But then I heard it, the sound in the background. A deep voice. A man's voice. It was muffled, distant, but unmistakable. A chuckle. A single word that I couldn't quite make out, but it was enough. My stomach twisted, my breath catching in my throat. I sat up, replaying the message over and over again, isolating the sound, listening carefully. It wasn't a TV. It wasn't a radio. It was someone with her. Adrenaline surged through me. My mind raced. Claire had said she was at her sister's house. But I knew her sister's voice, and this wasn't it. She had lied. And I was going to find out why. The next day, I called her. She answered on the second ring, her voice warm, casual, too casual. Hey, babe, she said. How's your day? I gripped the phone tighter. Good. How's your sister? She hesitated, just for a second. She's fine. We went out for brunch, did some shopping. Just relaxing now. I closed my eyes. Liar. That's nice, I said smoothly. Did you sleep well? Yeah, she said without missing a beat. Out like a light. I almost laughed. The ease with which she lied was staggering. I ended the call, my hands shaking with fury. I wasn't the kind of man to explode in anger. I didn't break things. I didn't scream. I planned. And I was about to dismantle her life piece by piece. I started with the small things. The details. I checked our shared accounts. She had booked a hotel. Not in the city where her sister lived, but 2 hours away, in a place she had no business being. I dug deeper. Phone records. Receipts. A second credit card I didn't recognize. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I played the role of the oblivious husband, letting her think she had fooled me. She came home Sunday night, kissing me like nothing had changed. Like she wasn't sleeping with another man. Like she wasn't desecrating our marriage with every lie that left her lips. I held her, kissed her back, because I wasn't done gathering evidence. And when I was ready, I wasn't just going to leave her. I was going to ruin her. Claire worked as a freelance graphic designer, which meant she relied on my health insurance. She had a rare autoimmune disorder, nothing life-threatening, but it required expensive medication. Medication she could only afford because she was on my plan. It was the perfect weapon. But I waited. I waited until I had every last detail. Until I had her lover's name. Until I had pictures, proof, undeniable evidence that she was cheating on me with a man named Ryan Parker. And then, when she least expected it, I struck. I canceled her health insurance first. It was easier than I thought. A few calls, a few signatures. She wasn't my problem anymore. Then, I called her doctor. Claire won't be needing her prescription anymore, I said, my voice calm. She's found another way to manage her condition. A pause. Sir, are you sure? She relies on this medication. I smiled. Not my concern anymore. And then, finally, I confronted her. It was a Friday night when I laid out all the evidence in front of her, bank statements, hotel receipts, text messages. I watched as the color drained from her face, as her lips trembled, as she realized there was no way out. She tried to deny it at first. Then she tried to cry. Then she begged. But I just looked at her. Cold. Empty. Unmoved. Mark, she whispered, voice cracking. Please, I made a mistake. I leaned in, my voice barely above a whisper. No, Claire. You made a choice. Tears streamed down her face. What are you going to do? I smiled. You'll see. She found out about the insurance the next week. She called me in a panic, sobbing, pleading. Mark, please. I need my medication. You can't just cancel it. I held the phone to my ear, enjoying the raw desperation in her voice. Oh, but I can, I said. And I did. She let out a choked sob. You're punishing me for one mistake? I laughed. No, Claire. I'm punishing you for every single lie you told me. Every time you looked me in the eye and pretended you loved me. Every night you spent in another man's bed. She gasped, breaking down completely. I have nothing now. I exhaled slowly, savoring the moment. And then, I hung up. Claire thought betrayal was something you could walk away from. She thought she could cheat, lie, and still keep the life I built for her. She was wrong. By the time I was done with her, she had no health insurance, no support system, no job prospects, and no future. She was a ghost of the woman she used to be. And I had never felt so alive. Claire spiraled fast. Days after I canceled her insurance, I saw the first cracks forming. She looked pale, exhausted, the weight of losing everything dragging her down. She must have tried to get a new plan on her own, but without my coverage, the premiums were insane. And without a steady job, she couldn't afford them. At first, she was stubborn. I could tell she thought she'd find a way out of it, maybe by running to Ryan, maybe by pleading with her parents, maybe by begging me. I made sure none of those options worked. Ryan, the man she had thrown away our marriage for, ghosted her as soon as things got complicated. I had seen it coming. He was never in it for her, just for the thrill of stealing something that belonged to another man. Now that she was a wreck, broke, sick, and desperate, he vanished. Her parents? I got to them first. I sent them everything. The receipts, the messages, the evidence of her betrayal. Her mother was mortified, her father furious. They weren't going to bail her out. And me? I just watched. She came to my house late one night, standing on my doorstep in the cold. Her once perfect hair was a mess, her makeup smudged from crying. She looked like a ghost of the woman I used to love. Mark, please. Her voice was hoarse, her body shaking. Just talk to me. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. Why would I do that? Her lips trembled. I know I hurt you. I know I don't deserve anything from you. But I'm sick. I can't afford my meds. I cut her off. And that's my problem? She let out a shaky breath. I'm not asking for much. Just help me get back on my feet. I have nothing. I tilted my head, pretending to consider it. Then I smiled. Good. Her eyes widened. You want me to suffer? I stepped closer, lowering my voice. I want you to feel every ounce of pain you put me through. Every time you snuck off to meet him. Every time you looked me in the eye and lied. I want you to wake up every day knowing you destroyed your own life. Tears streamed down her face. Mark, please. I slammed the door in her face. Thank you for listening to the story to the end. Please like, share your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel.